It wasn't for the gathering. All right? Now, even more. Let's go into more of with Paul teaching on the Sabbath day. To show you, since they want to talk about Paul. Let's stay in Acts. So when they go to Acts, keep them in Acts so that you can show them their error. You notice they use the first day of the week, but they do it under ambiguity. It's still space where it never says that you're supposed to worship on the first day of the week. No place they ever take, because it doesn't change what the Most High said. So no matter where they take you, let's get it real quick in the book of Acts. Let's read it.
Acts chapter 13, verse 14. But when they departed from Perga, they came to Antioch and Pisidia, and went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day.
They went into the synagogue when?
On the Sabbath day.
On what day?
On the Sabbath day.
Read.
And sat down. And after reading of the law and the prophets, the rulers of the synagogue sent unto them, saying, Ye men and brethren, if you have any word of exhortation for the people, say on. Then Paul stood up.
I thought Paul was dealing with Sunday service.
Then Paul stood up.
So he's there on the Sabbath?
Then Paul stood up.
Go ahead.
And beckoning with his hand said, Men of Israel.
Men of who?
Men of Israel. If ye that fear the Most High, give audience.
So how do they explain that? Paul is here on the Sabbath. Go down to the 27th verse.
Verse 27.
In case they think that was an isolated situation there. Read.
For they that dwell at Jerusalem and their rulers, because they knew him not, nor yet the voices of the prophets which are read every Sabbath day. Nor yet the voices of the prophets which are read every Sabbath day.
Is that every Sabbath day?
Every Sabbath day.
Is that every seventh day of the week?
Every Sabbath day.
Now I need you to get your calendar and look and see what the seventh day is. Monday is the first day. Every Sabbath day, and mind you, this was the Acts of the Apostles after Christ's resurrection. So Christ have already died now. So you can't say it's switched after Christ died. When Paul is worshiping on the Sabbath. Every Sabbath. Sunday is the first day of the week. Right? Sunday is the first day of the week. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Sunday is the first day of the week. So if you get a calendar, it will clearly show you. Let me correct that. It will clearly show you Sunday as the first day of the week. I mean, how can we get this confused? How can this even be a point of argument? There's no place, nowhere that tells us that Sunday is the day of the Lord in the Bible. Now, if you want to deal with the Babylonian Roman Catholic Church, who worship the Babylonian sun and worship on a Sunday and get their teachers from ancient Egypt and Babylon, okay. That would make common sense that the slaves would follow in the veins of their slave masters who enslaved and killed everybody and gave you Sunday worship. But it's not in the Bible. All right? So I hope you got enough precepts there. Someone asked, does Satan have offspring? Yeah, the seeds of Nephilim, when the angels came down. Are you asking, is there any account where Satan himself dealt with a woman? I haven't seen it. Someone says, although Job was an Edomite, the ruling Edomite kings, Amalek, didn't consider Job their brother because they vowed not to place any one of their lineage as kings. Same as today. That's interesting. I've seen that. Someone asks, will the multitude outside the 144,000 live forever? Well, after Christ's return, one thing that Christ destroys at the end of the 1,000 years is death and hell. Death was a curse. So absolutely, if you make it into the kingdom, death have no more power over you. All right? Someone says also, brother, read Acts 20 and 6. Read Acts 20 and 6 again. Acts 20 and 6. What verse were they dealing with there?
Acts 20 and 7.
20 and 7. Let's see, we read the 6th verse right before that. Excuse me.
It says, and when we sailed from Philippi, after the days of unleavened bread.
After the days of unleavened bread, that was right after you got the feast of unleavened bread. Before that, you had the Passover. So there was an 8-day period. Read.
And came unto them to Troas in the 5 days. And we abode where we abode 7 days. And upon the first day of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread.
You know what's incredible about this? They will go into the first day of the week just to justify Sunday. And just skip right over the Feast of Unleavened Bread and the Passover and all the holy days you're supposed to worship. How is it you can pull out that first day of the week on the 7th verse and not deal with the Feast of Unleavened Bread in the 6th verse? So immediately I would take them to the verse before that. Be like, yeah, that's interesting too, but let's read that 6th verse. What's that? Do you do that? Oh, no, we don't do that no more. That's done away with. Okay, let's make this clear. Okay, so the holy days are done away with. But because disciples got together and broke bread on the first day of the week, Sunday worship is instituted? Is that what you're telling me? Right? But then once see, they're used to teaching unlearned people. It's easy to go to someone who don't know anything to bring them that. But once they see you know the Bible, then they go into this ridiculous rhetoric and start saying, well, listen, I worship God every day of the week. That's where they go then. Okay. All right. That's where they go next. I praise God every day. The discussion, we're not going to switch this to what day you praise God. Let's talk about the God of all creation, even before the laws of Moses, set the 7th day as the day of rest in his creation. Let's talk about what he instituted, what he wanted, not what we do. Okay? I'll answer 2 more questions, then I'll pass this to the brother Gabar because we have to do communion. Someone asked, what's your opinion on the God particle? What's the God particle? I heard of that someplace, but what is it speaking of?
Question. Never heard of that.
Huh? So it was on the news that what? Listen, I discovered the God particle too. Right here. It's called the Bible. Here's the God particle. They try to make things as everything is the Most High. You can find the Most High in everything. All right, they come up with this thing as if the Most High is some elusive element that they have to find. It's utterly ridiculous. it would be interesting to know what they're talking about, but usually they come with something to bring another agenda. That's why you can't trust what they're bringing out. There's always a philosophical agenda that leads you into more confusion. Here's the God particle right here. All right, let's see. Someone asked about Corinthians 12, where it says it's okay to marry someone who's not in the faith. Well, you can choose to do that. I mean, that's your option. All right, as long as they be pleased to dwell with you. But this is really speaking of people who are together, and you may have one person who believes and another that don't believe. As long as they please to dwell with each other, and they're not going to tear each other down and try to destroy each other with it. Or you may have a guy who's with a sister who just don't want to believe, or vice versa, and they get mad because the person is not seeing what they're seeing. If the person is still taking care of their part of the house and a good person and can't see it right now, or standoffish, just let them be. They're not stopping you from serving the Most High. Someone says a blackout looming, thousands to lose internet access as FBI shuts down servers. I haven't heard of that. But it's going to be shut down one day anyway, so. Someone says the burial cave Abraham brought. Is that considered the Egyptian burial cave? I have to look into that to see if that's under Egyptian property. Okay. Okay, brother, we're gonna relegate this to Elder Gabar. You just hold tight, and Elder Gabar be on shortly. We're gonna deal with a short communion of bread and wine, and after that, we're gonna say our prayers. All right. We thank you all for attending the class. If you have any additional questions, please send your email to gatheringasone, that's the number 1, at AOL.com. And of course, we'll see a lot of you tomorrow. A moment here.